started.
Oh, Gilbert, 007MF again. Okay, well, let's try knight F3. I haven't played that for a while. Another one of these flank openings. F5. I wonder if Gilbert played F5 in the other one. Okay, let's go with G3. So this is a Reti, I guess, where black is playing a Dutch kind of system against the Reti. Normally you go with C5, kind of strengthening the grip on the light squares here. He isn't really, he is contesting them. Yeah, I guess he's got a light squared pawn chain too. And maybe he gets play along the F file. So I could go with E3 and D4 here and try and build up a big center. It might be good in this case. Also, E3 puts extra restraint on the pawn to F5 idea. Okay, and he builds up a light squared pawn chain. Let's see. I want to be able to take back here, so let's play B3. I don't want to just give up a pawn on C. I don't want to just give up a pawn on C4 for no reason. And he's looking at this square. He can maybe drop a knight into the E4 square. That's an idea, supported by those two pawns. He's got a strong outpost there. And wonder how to expand here. This bishop seems like it's permanently bad. If I could trade it off for his bishop, that would help. But his bishop is well defended at the moment. Okay, I'm just going to expand on the queen side. And maybe develop this bishop to A3 and push all these pawns forward and see what he can do on the king side. So we're going with opposite side attacks, where unfortunately my king is over here on the king side. But we'll see. My queen side attack looks very quick here. Okay, so he breaks in the center. I think that's okay, because the way he did it, he's coming in here with the bishop or the knight. The bishop would pin my knight, but I can defend it. I can also trade off the bishop. If he comes in with the knight, I can go to D4. It looks like a good square for the knight, and not trade. And maybe my... if I don't trade, though, he's got knight to C4. I should think about that. Knight C4. Ready to trade off this bishop. Okay, let's take the knight. And let's just defend my knight here and sort of unpin a little bit. There's kind of a rook. There was kind of a rook pin there. A pin on the rook. Yeah, so he can keep piling up. Rather than take that knight, though, let's defend. Knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes. Should be okay. I don't especially want to take that knight and open up this F file. Yeah, so he can keep piling on. So there's 3 attackers and 2 defenders here right now. I can keep defending. Can he get more pressure? That's the question. And can I take advantage of this somehow? Knight back here. Knight to D1 would defend the bishop. Bishop takes, knight takes, and he can't take with the queen. So I think I like that. That's it will get rid of the dark squared bishop, which is one of his good pieces. It displaces my knight. This knight will not be on a good square for a while, because it's like 4 moves away from being on on D4 where it wants to be. But I can get there, I think. Here, 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 here. Yeah, 3 moves. So knight, that's the agenda. Knight d3 to f4. He can sit on f4 for a while, but then that maybe will encourage him to push the... okay, let's think about this for just a second, though. Maybe I should put a rook on d4 instead of the knight. I can get there quicker and I can blockade this pawn. And keeping these pawns blockaded on the light squares might be good for me. Okay, he wants to trade queens. Queen takes, knight takes. The knight's hitting this pawn that's hitting the rook. The rook can come over and defend the pawn. I can avoid the queen trade a bit. How can I avoid it? By going to e2. But then he grabs a pawn. So I think I should do this. And he's got this check. He has a check on e2, but does that really accomplish much? I don't know. I just have to avoid a move like rook to c1 before I've managed to protect that square. Maybe bishop to f3 is a good next move. Bishop f3 and then rook c1, chasing his knight away. You know, that was unnecessary. That pawn was already defended. But, well, at least I can play knight e3 now. Okay, Gilbert is thinking. Okay. Haven't fallen too far behind here. Okay, just brings it back. So knight here. He can come into d2, hitting this rook, but it doesn't fork the other rook. So rook to the second rank and over. And then push on the queen side. Let's see, and he's going to double on the F file, I guess? Oh, he's doubling on the E file. Okay, let's look at B5 right now. Pawn takes, and I have a pair of threatening-looking pawns there, and then maybe the rook here. Let's try it. Then maybe rook c1, which should be safe to play. Rook c1. Okay, doesn't take. Can I encourage him to take in some way? Knight here, here, here. That's kind of slow, but it's the only way I see at the moment to build up more pressure on c6. Okay, yeah, he chases my knight away. He's going for this the f4 break here, and he can maybe play it now. Pawn here, pawn takes, knight takes is good for me, but pawn here, pawn takes, maybe has some discovery with his knight. Knight here, because, well, no, my knight's defended by the rook, so the rook on the second rank is doing a good job here. Oh, but it's a double attack. Let's not get optimistic. Pawn here, pawn takes. Knight here, hitting my rook. I take his knight, he takes my knight. I take his rook, he takes my rook. And then I can grab another pawn. So he brings his king up, so he's not doing that. Okay, so my idea was to come here anyway. Get away from any pins on the e-file and put pressure on c6. Now I really am threatening to take here. Or am I? No, maybe not. Okay, so he goes there. He's hitting... Oh, man. He's hitting that pawn again. And he's hitting this pawn. So pawn takes, hitting the bishop. Pawn takes. Then I've got that backwards pawn to attack, and I can bring a rook over to defend my a pawn. Well, he goes with the bishop. That's very interesting. Okay, so I want to defend... Oh, that's the problem. With his bishop attacking here. So I guess I have to take that. Now I can push this pawn forward. Or defend it. Let's push it forward. Get it out of the range of that knight. And we'll see what he's doing here. He could go after my other pawn. Well, he goes there to blockade. Okay. So I can take here, right? Finally, finally a tactic appears. I can take here. Unless there's something. Okay, he didn't find it if there was a refutation there. Okay, so it's rooks and pawns. I'm a pawn up. I have a passed pawn. That's probably a good situation. He's got advanced pawns on the king side, so I do have to be careful. Maybe I could have pushed immediately, but he can always blockade immediately. So he's penetrating with his king. Maybe he's going to set up, his king could come here and he could threaten mate on the back rank, but I think I'm getting a queen here pretty quickly. Or not. Okay, get rid of one pair of rooks and bring my king forward. That is funny. Is that really going to work? If I move my king away anymore, he could bring his king into g2 potentially and go after my pawns. But, well, I can attack his pawns. He can threaten checkmate. That's what I thought he had in the back of his mind. He brings his king forward and gets the rook to the back rank. It is a mate threat. But how does his rook ever get there? Yeah, so he just goes there. So let's give myself a little space here. Now if I grab this pawn, he takes that pawn. Don't know. What's going on? I take here, he takes there. It's a problem because of the back rank threat. Okay, check here first to drive this king back. And step forward with my king so I'm not getting mated. Okay, let's drive his
Check.
king back a little bit more. And drop back here. So I'm going to trade this pawn for this pawn and a rook, and go into this king and pawn endgame. And I think I'm better here. We'll see. The even number of pawns. Right, so at some point I lure his king away. Probably right here. And then my pawn is closer to queening than his. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. His pawn is closer to queening than mine. Unbelievable. It's been that kind of day. So, and I have to be careful he doesn't queen with check, but it doesn't matter. He's guarding my queening square. Well, let's play it out. Yeah, one step. So he gets his queen in front of the pawn, and that's all over. Okay, well, good game, Gilbert. I will
White resigns.
upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.